Thank you. Welcome to today's Administrative Operations Committee meeting. Chairman Maldonado, you are able to begin.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the meeting of the Administrative Operations Committee of the Public Building Commission of Chicago being held today, September 2nd, 2020 at 1 p.m. Due to COVID-19, an in-person meeting is not prudent or practical. Today's meeting is being conducted by video conference and is being live streamed on the PBC's YouTube and Facebook accounts. You can access this information on the agency's website at www.pbcchicago.com. Director Sanchez, please call the roll.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Chairman Maldonado. I'll start the roll call. Chairman Maldonado.
Here.
Commissioner Randall.
Here.
Commissioner Camargo.
Here.
Chairman Maldonado, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Director Sanchez. The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the March 4th, 2020 committee meeting. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion approved. Next item on the agenda is public participation in accordance with the Open Meetings Act.
Chairman Maldonado, there are no registered public speakers today.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is report by Chief of Staff Lori Lipson.
Thank you. Thank you, commissioners, for meeting today. I just want to give an overview of what's been happening from our March 4th meeting until August. Most of these reports, again, are a summary of what has happened since our April until August task orders, specialties, CM reports, DB, including Ray's report on change orders. The change orders will, as you know, we typically do our approvals, but they will be ratified for this meeting. And then he will go over the ones that actually need approval as we've been meeting. So today, what I'm going to do a little different than what we typically do is go over a summary of the reports. I know you have them in your board packets. The first one we'll go over is our specialty consultants. There were 19 over the span of time. There were 2 geotechnical service investigation reports in the total amount of $33,649.35. We had 10 material testing task orders that totaled $581,253. We had 1 environmental rental demo task order in the amount of $37,080. We also had 5 environmental engineering task orders that totaled $617,493.49. And finally, we had 1 surveyor task order in the amount of $18,000. The summary and all of the individual task orders are in your AO committee packets. I will now move on to the task orders awarded to our AOR and EOR contracts. Previously, we let the committee know that what we will do is come back and report on the task orders associated with those projects. And the first one is for our Legler Regional Library. It's for additional AOR service to Ratio Architects in the amount of $25,075. The second one is for our Decatur Classical Elementary School to Muller & Muller, which is a WBE firm, in the amount of $16,632. Our next one is Dirksen for AOR services to Studio ARQ, which is an MBE firm, in the amount of $24,000. And the fourth task order is for Esmond, and it's for Onyx Architectural Services, which is an MBE, for $3,440. And again, for Esmond to Onyx, one was for the split HVAC, and the second one is for the details for the lintels in the amount of $24,349. Our sixth task order is for Poe to Moody Nolan in the amount of $4,800. Our next one is Rogers to Urban Works, which is a MBE WBE firm, in the amount of $5,898. And we have our second library, which is the Merlot Branch Library. And this is for Ross Barney Architects, which is a WBE firm, in the amount of $34,573. Our ninth task order is for Ebinger Elementary School, and it's revisions to the principal's office to Studio ARQ, which is an MBE firm, in the amount of $11,000. Rickover is for our hydronic piping system to Globetrotters, which is an MBE firm, in the amount of $43,522.19. And finally, we have our one and only engineer of record task order to HBK for our Salt Dome Replacement Center, in the amount of $728,122.50. I'm going to pause there to see if there's any questions on those two reports. Okay, so I will move on to our design build report. We have two projects, which are the Hancock Elementary School and Engine Company 115. Last time we reported on the initial GMPs. I wanted to update you on the First Amendment to Engine Company 115. And that amendment is in the amount of $21,674,405. Moving on to our exciting projects, which most Ray will report are moving well. Our construction manager report. Last time we reported on the initial GMPs and the Amendment 1. And so some of the projects have Amendment 2 and Amendment 3. As we move forward, we're hoping we will get to our final GMP. So that may be at our November or December meeting. But to update you thus far, as promised, Decatur has an Amendment 2, in the amount of $22,389,600. The next one is for our Palmer, for $18,390,450 on their second amendment. We also have Dirksen, which is a Passion Boa project, in the amount of $32,139,100. Our fourth project is the Prosser Academy renovation, which is a Bully Andrews project, in the amount of $12,633,000. And one of our favorite projects, Rickover, has an Amendment 3 in the amount of $26,579,675. And our last one to report is our Locke Elementary School, which is a Berglund project in the amount of $24,160,000. Okay. So my last report is the amendment report. And typically, as you know, as I just reported in the specialty consultants, we are extending our pools until December 31st, 2022. And this is their last extension. And the reason we are doing that, as we will find out in the next coming months, we will find out what our program is. And at the time, we will reassess what projects are in need of what services. But these are just to extend the project. It is for no money, but we wanted to extend it while we have the services available. And so I'm going to read out all the specialties. And the first one is for an amendment for environmental services. And this includes a pool of 10, which include AECOM, Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions, Carlson, Carnell, Carnabear and Associates, which is a WBE, Environmental Design Engineering, which is a MBE, WBE, GSG, which is a MBE, O'Brien and Gare Engineerings, Terracon, Tetra Tech, and V3. And again, this is the pool of 10. It's for no dollar amount. It's just for time. The second amendment is for environmental renovation demolition. There are 8 firms in this pool, which include Accurate GSG Joint Venture, which is a MBE, Wood Environment and Infrastructure, ATC Group, Carnell, Carnabear and Associates, Environmental Design International, which is an MBE, WBE, GSG, which is an MBE, Terracon, and Verde 2 Environmental Services. And that is 8 in that pool. And again, that's for $0. The next amendment is for geotechnical services. And there are 6 in that pool, which include AECOM, ECS, GSG, again, which is the MBE, Terracon, SECO, and Weaver Consultants Group North Central LLC. And that is for $0, just time. Our fourth specialty is our surveyor services, and there are 7 in this pool, which include American Survey Engineering, PC, which is an MBE firm, DB Sterling Consulting, MBE, Environmental Design International, which is an MBE, WBE, Landmark Engineering, LLC, Terra Engineering, which is a WBE, V3, and Weaver Consultants. Again, that's $0. We have a 5th amendment for our traffic study pool, which includes 7, AECOM, DLZ, Globetrotters Engineering, which is an MBE, Knight, Primera, which is a WBE, Terra Engineering, and Terra Engineering, which is a WBE, and V3. Again, $0. Our last specialty pool is for material testing, and it includes 5 firms. Design Consulting, which is MBE, ECS Midwest, Princeton Technical Services, which is an MBE, and Terra, MBE, and SECO Consultants, which is $0. So that includes the 6 pools that we have for our specialties. The next one you will see on the report is for Multivista, which is our photo documentation services. We are extending their contract for, again, no dollar amount. This is just for time until December 31st, 2022. On the last page of your amendment report, you will see 3 firms that provide design architect services for us. And again, this is just to extend for time, no dollar amount. And it includes our 3 firms, FGM, Leggett Architects, and SMNGA. Getting to the super exciting insurance, the 9th amendment is for insurance brokerage services. This is for our Mesero Insurance Services. They provide our assistance with, obviously, our medical insurance and all our other benefits. We are working with them. As you know, since the pandemic hit, we are trying to get their pricing in place. We are hoping it will be for the same dollar amount as anticipated, but I wanted to give the AO committee the heads up. We hope to finalize the cost this week, which we are anticipating is approximately $116,000, but we will know by the board meeting. CS Insurance Strategies, which is an MBE firm, that's for our insurance services for our directors and officers. It is for an amendment for $6,000, which we anticipated. This is our 1-year pricing that they gave us 3 years ago, and it's for $6,000. And our last amendment for this period is for Terry Gwynn Associates. They provided work for our Taft Freshman Academy connector path. They provided additional landscape. This originally was on our under 25 for the amount of $22,891. They had to do some additional landscape design services in the amount of $2,059. That concludes my amendment report, Chairman.
I have a question, Chairman.
Yes, sir.
You may have said this, so I'll make sure I understand. The program-wide amendments, are they extensions that were already built into the original agreements, or we were asking for an extension related to the pandemic, and it seemed most practical and wise to extend it for that reason?
Extensions based on the pandemic. And so our goal, they actually expire in December, but we want to be proactive and get everybody in place in case we have a fruitful program coming up. But yes, we are, hopefully the specialties, they are all lined up to go when we have it. But yes, look, the answer is yes, because of the pandemic.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any further questions? Thank you, Ms. Lipson. Is there a motion to accept the report provided by the Chief of Staff?
So moved.
Second.
The reports are accepted. The next item on the agenda is report by Chief Development Officer Ray Gitteroff.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Happy to hear all of your voices. How are you all doing?
Good.
Good. Thank
Doing
you.
well, thank you.
Good. This afternoon, I will be providing an update regarding PBC's field order activity report and our change order summary for the period of March 2020 through August 2020. So if I may, I will give you an overview of our field order report. It's important to note that all of the field orders were reviewed with our clients for concurrence and approval prior to the PBC issuing those field orders. And accordingly, with those approvals, all of our contractors and construction managers proceeded with the work. So for the period of March 2020 through August 2020, there were 79 total field orders that were issued across 19 different projects. Of those 79 field orders, 70 were related to our school program and 9 were for our municipal projects. And then of the 19 total projects in which we issued 79 field orders, 17 were different school projects within our school program, and then 2 of them were municipal projects. The field order, the changes that are summarized in each field order include a variety of items. Many of them are differing site conditions. Some of them are client-directed items, and some of them are related to our design milestone updates as it relates to the projects that are being managed by our construction managers. To that end, there are 12 total projects that we procured through the construction manager at risk method. So for the purposes of reporting on the field orders, I can summarize in saying that we issued field orders for the Dorr Elementary School, for the Mount Greenwood Elementary School, for the Pressing Elementary School, for Taft Freshman Academy. At the time, we referred to that as the Reed Dunning School, and then for the Zapata Academy as well. Beyond those schools, as Lori's been reporting on these amendments to the construction manager at risk agreements, the balance of those schools are being managed through that construction manager at risk process that with all of our partners at CPS has been a success for us as a program. The Corliss School, we issued 4 field orders, and happy to report that the work at Corliss was completed on August 28th in accordance with our time of completion requirements. The Decatur project, there was one field order issued for that. That project was also completed on August 28th. The Kenwood project, there was one field order issued for that as well. And Kenwood was completed on Friday, August 31st. The Locke Elementary School, which is our only Deaver Beam project, we issued a total of 5 field orders for that. In the Locke Elementary School, work was completed on August 28th. The McDade Classical Elementary School, one of our 3 classical schools, 10 field orders were issued for that project. For our Palmer Elementary School, there were 8 total field orders, issued for that project. That project was completed on August 14th. For the Poe Classical Elementary School, there were 8 field orders issued for that project. For the Prosser Career Academy, we issued 2 field orders. And then for the Rickover renovation project, there were a total of 6 field orders issued. And then for the Rogers Elementary School, 11 field orders issued total. And then we had the Washington High School renovation project, in which we issued 3 field orders. And then the Waters Elementary and a new annex and renovations, we issued 3 field orders for that project. And then the last 2 projects are our municipal projects. The Columbus Park renovation work under our Group A, 1 field order, and then 8 field orders for our current library project over at the Legler Regional Branch. And we issued 8 field orders for that. That's the overview summary. The details of the field orders are included in your briefing books. If you've got specific questions, I can respond to those. If not, Commissioners and Chairman Maldonado, that would conclude my report for the field order activity report.
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, proceed.
Ray, I think I saw a couple of items, and I have to switch between screens here. We talked about work related to maintaining the schedule, and there was like a line item for some of those. Like, for example, if you look at the Poe Elementary School, you've got a line item, work to maintain the time of completion requirements. I saw that in a couple places. Can you just talk a little bit about what that is?
Okay, that's an excellent question. We had more than 1 field order across more than 1 project in which we directed our construction manager to accelerate its work and maintain schedule. In the case of the Poe project, there were elements that impacted the job related to the permitting process. As we worked through our partners at the building department, our construction manager, and our architect of record, we recognized that there were a number of elements that precluded the permit from being issued within the time frame that we needed. So the first thing that we did, Commissioner, is reconcile our schedule to delineate, what time, how much time was the project impacted, and of that time, how much of that could be mitigated by our construction manager, which is truly one of the bigger benefits of having a construction manager as a professional service agreement, rather than a general contract agreement where we design, bid, then build. In this case, our construction manager works alongside with our architect, with our client, and ourselves in a transparent model so that we can identify our risks or schedule impacts, in this case related to permit issuance, so that we're mitigating or asking our construction manager to mitigate as much time as possible before we issue a field order directing it to accelerate the work. And in that case, the construction manager, in this case at the Poe School, which is a project being managed by our team and Berglund Construction, we were able to mitigate the majority of that time by asking our subcontractors to verify the total duration required for the activities, look at overlapping activities, look at revising the logic and sequence of work, understanding the relationships between the different activities to try to reduce the overall impact to the project. So once we exhausted all of that, we worked with our client to verify that, yes, there is acceleration required. In fact, this isn't the only project, since you raised that question. It also occurred at the McDade project, and then for different reasons at the Decatur project. In each case, we worked with our construction manager to identify an order of magnitude amount, as you see there. And then we track those costs on a weekly basis through our cost matrix to make sure that we're trending in accordance with the proposed order of magnitude value that we receive from the construction manager, as opposed to an estimate that's provided by an independent estimator without the input of the construction manager or the trades that are working on that site. So for Poe, it was directly related to permit issuance, and our partners at the building department were incredibly good to us with regard to, expedited reviews, phased reviews in order to get these permits issued for us. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's a lot of detail, and I appreciate it. And I just have a larger, just overarching question. So, as your work has been impacted by the pandemic, just sort of, are there some general challenges that you had to handle to get projects on schedule, and how has it impacted you generally?
That's another great question. So our first priority was to ensure that we are protecting our staff, our consultants, all of the trades. Commissioner Maldonado was a great partner. So our first step was to make sure that everybody's safe. The project is important, but everybody's safety and well-being was more important. So once we were able to establish those protocols with regard to safety and social distancing and face coverings and all that comes with that, establishing protocols for maintaining clean sites, making sure that additional hand washing stations are available, conducting multiple safety stand downs, ensuring that our construction managers are in discussion with the trades at their daily toolbox talks, in addition to rolling shutdowns. On more than one occasion, we implemented rolling shutdowns across our program, meaning on any given Friday or a Thursday or a Saturday, if it didn't impact the project, we directed the CMs to shut the job down for a 2-day or 3-day period in order to allow for proper cleaning and allow whatever's happening in the building to settle, right? I'll use those words because this pandemic continues to evolve. In some cases, I can tell you this, we've had supply chain impacts across the entire program, from the East Coast to the West Coast, from Mexico to Canada to France, and back to our ports here in Chicago, whether that be at our ports in New York or our deliveries through O'Hare. In every single one of those cases, we've been reporting the impact specifically on a daily basis, and then the mitigation strategies for that. In some cases, our bleachers, for example, at our gymnasiums have been impacted. There's no strategy or alternate solution for bleachers. The issue is setting expectations with our client, most importantly, who's been a great partner. And then, for example, the school principal. The bleachers have been impacted. They will arrive after, quote unquote, school opens, and we'll coordinate the installation of the bleachers at that time. In other cases, whether it's a flooring issue, a fixture issue, a glass issue, or a light fixture issue, switchgear, and everything that you can imagine in between, we've worked with our client and our architects and our construction managers to identify appropriate alternates or appropriate solutions to resolve those matters. As you can imagine, it goes further than that as it relates to building inspections, inspections by the health department for our kitchens, and so on and so forth. So the answer is yes, in a big, bold way with a big underline underneath it, to say that, yes, we experienced all of that. And I can tell you that with all of that, we've been reporting since December. We've been preparing since December of last year for the pandemic, and all of our projects have been completed. There are 2 remaining projects that are being completed as we speak, and that's the renovation work at Washington, and it's the new annex at McDade. Otherwise, under tremendous circumstances and challenges that otherwise would not be recoverable, our entire team, including all of our partners at the building department, at the Board of Education, the construction managers, the architects, all of the aldermen that have been very supportive, with all of that input, and especially, I'll leave it for last, our local unions and the leadership there. Because as this evolved, as we continue to learn lessons, as we communicated with my counterparts in different states, as those governors shut states down and what that meant for impacts, we were able to make adjustments to our work strategy without being disruptive to the community and without impacting school opening. So I would say that collectively we were very smart and a little bit lucky, if that answers your question.
Yeah.
And Ray, I just wanted to add 2 points of why the CM method allowed the flexibility. That's why we have so many amendments. That's one reason we were able to be flexible and make those pivots accordingly. And so having the CM agreements rather than a hard bid was more advantageous. Obviously, we didn't know this was going to occur, but the CM method allows you to make those alternate changes, anything that you need in real time, and that was helpful. The other thing that Ray talked about was workforce. Once we get into really looking at closing out and finishing the projects, all the agencies have been talking about the pandemic and how it affected the workforce. And so when we talk about EEO damages, we're really going to have to look at that holistically. We've been talking with our partners again at other agencies to talk about it, because there was, even though it was a pandemic, there was a work shortage, and then those they were coming from different states to help out when other states were closed down. So we are gonna look at that for these projects. They're still tracking well, but we really want to take a look at our CM partners when it gets to that portion. But I just wanted to put that in context as we move forward, because this will become an issue in 3 or 4 months. But thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, thank you both for all that context. It's very helpful.
And just if I may add a little bit in regards to this COVID pandemic and how we've been dealing with this on job sites, I actually want to commend Ray and all the staff at the PBC for looking ahead of this. He actually reached out to me and we were able to create some sort of safety protocol program, if you want to call it. And by doing these job site visits and by Ray and all the staff doing their due diligence, I honestly believe we've been able to avoid so many issues in regards to this pandemic and people getting infected. Now, it's not like we have a handbook that says, hey, listen, this is how you handle a pandemic. We're learning by day by different situations. But compared to other projects that are not like PBC projects, if I may say that, we've been running into issues where people are getting infected, different trades, different workers, and for the PBC to be able, and the work that Ray has put into it, to be able to kind of maintain clean job sites and moving in the right direction. I mean, they've done a phenomenal job. And again, Ray, I applaud you for that. I applaud the PBC staff for allowing me to put in my 2 cents and be able to help out. And having said that, I'll let you continue, Ray.
I appreciate those kind words, and everybody's partnership is appreciated. Without everybody's input, everybody's view, we would not be where we are. We've had nearly 65,000 people work on our sites, contractors and otherwise, since our first reported case. And everybody, as I reported, is doing well, and their families are doing well. And we were able to keep our sites open and keep everybody employed. So number one, keep people safe. Number two, make sure they're employed. Number three, let's finish our work as we committed to our clients. That has been the most important message that we've sent across the program.
Thank you, Ray.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, I can proceed with our change order summary if there are no other questions.
Any further questions?
No,
Go ahead.
not for me.
Proceed, Ray.
All right. Thank you. So during the same period, there's change orders for 9 different projects. The total aggregate amount for those 9 projects is a credit amount of $1,318,276.89. Of those 9 projects, there are 7 school projects and then 2 projects with the Park District. So if I may, the first 5 projects for our schools are related to closeout change orders. And you're familiar with this, where we've presented the closeout change orders after all of our construction change orders have been negotiated and finalized. And these change orders that I'm going to talk about deduct unused allowances, contingencies, and or any liquidated damages associated with the hiring goals and requirements. So the first project is the South Loop Elementary project for a total credit amount of $797,933.10. And that's a deduction of 2 allowances that were in the contract, one for site work and one for the camera allowance. The second project is the Dorr Elementary School for a total credit amount of $612,925.11. That is for deduction of unused commission contingencies. The next project is the Sheridan Academy Annex for a total credit amount of $177,568.51. And that's a combination of unused camera allowances, site work, and contingencies. The next project is the Oriole Park Annex, and that's a deduct of $48,235.23. And that's for those liquidated damages related to the general contractor's shortfall on female journey workers and city residency. The next project is the Columbia Explorers Academy modular project. As you recall, that was the only modular project for that year. And that's a credit amount of $5,857.16 related to liquidated damages for the contractors for the shortfall on city residency. The next 2 CPS projects are the Lincoln Park High School renovation project and the pressing annex. For Lincoln Park High School, this is an add of $42,942.52. These were additional stair treads that were required in the main building. If you remember, quite some time ago, we reviewed the field order for this that was required. The work's complete, the stairs are functioning, and the stairs are safe to use. The next project is the pressing annex, and these are for new IP phones in the main building and the modular and annex. This was in accordance with the CPS's request based on its updated specifications. I think I failed to mention the value on this. The total add cost of this is $81,674.73. The next 2 projects are Park District projects, and these are related to discovered conditions and or client-directed items. In this case, for the Robichaud Park facility renovations and the Harrison Park facility renovation work, both of these included grant funding. In this case, both required IDNR approval and Park District approval before we issued those field orders at that time. In this case, at the final negotiated stages, we have all 3. We've got roundtable approval, we've got our Park District approval, and we have IDNR approval, all in writing, in order to comply with the grant requirements. In this case, for the Robichaud Park facility renovation project, this was for full flat roof replacement work to accommodate work that was being performed by our client relative to the rooftop units that were up on the roof. So essentially, the client's contractor was working to replace rooftop units. Our scope didn't include the roof replacement work relative to to the areas that the client's contractor was working. It was best in concurrence with the client and IDNR that the roof be replaced, and that's the work that we did. Happy to report that there are no reported issues at Robichaud. The Harrison Park facility renovation work, 2 change orders totaling $131,736.94. In this case, there was repair work required to address pre-existing water infiltration issues at the Liffin Foundation. The good thing is that our contractor was there working. The issue was discovered, it was investigated, confirmed, and we received approval to proceed with that work. The second was for repair work at the Southeast Natatorium, same drainage issues to address pre-existing underground blockage. Again, if you recall, some of these facilities are very old. Being there and working with and the Park District's been great to work with. Being there and understanding those pre-existing conditions, performing the necessary televising work to understand the extent of the work, whether there's blockage or damage or breakage, we were able to make those repairs and replace the damaged infrastructure. That concludes my change order summary for this period. Are there any questions?
Nope.
No.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Geroff. Is there a motion to accept the reports provided by the Chief Development Officer?
So moved.
Second.
The reports are accepted. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, everyone. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes our Administrative and Operations Committee for September 2nd at 1 p.m. Again, you may view this on YouTube or our website. It was live streamed on Facebook. You may avail yourself to either one of those. We appreciate your attendance and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.